It's pretty obvious that Donald Trump's presidential campaign is not going well, and he seems to be taking out on everybody around him, including his running mate, JD Vance. And now Donald Trump has issued an ominous threat to JD that's sure to have him shaking in his boots. It was just weeks ago that Donald Trump felt like he was on top of the world. He was running against Joe Biden at the time and well ahead in the polls, and he felt comfortable enough to pick a running mate as his vice president who would simply back him up. And that's why he chose Senator JD Vance of Ohio. But JD Vance has quickly proven to become a liability for Donald Trump. JD can't help but put his foot in his mouth, and he's got the worst approval rating we've seen in a long time. Just days ago, AP Norc put out a poll showing JD Vance was well underwater with his favorability rating. They have him at -17. That's 27% of people having him as favorable, with 44% unfavorable. And you compare that to Tim Walz, Kamala Harris's running mate, who's at +11. That's 36% of people viewing him favorably and 25% unfavorably. And it's JD Vance's comments from the past and the present that are leading to this unfavorable rating that he's getting with the American people, whether it's mocking childless cat ladies in the past or claiming that Tim Walz is stealing valor by misrepresenting some comments he made about his 24 years of military service. But JD Vance is also failing at the easiest of tasks, like retail politics. For example, he went to a donut shop in Georgia recently and had the most awkward interactions with the staff there.
You did a couple dozen, sir. A couple dozen? Okay. I'm sorry, man? Okay, yeah. She doesn't want to be on film, guys, so just cut her out of anything. Appreciate that, man. I'm JD Vance. I'm running for vice president. Good to see you.
Okay.
This lady working at the donut shop is awesome. Immediately shuts down JD Vance by telling him, "I don't want to be on camera," ruining his entire purpose for coming into this establishment. And then he introduces himself and says, "I'm JD Vance running for Senate." And her response, "Okay." That's not the response you're hoping for when you make a stop like this. And who was the advanced person that went to this establishment to ask them if they could do this media stop and if they were friendly towards JD Vance? Somebody needs to lose their job immediately because this is a disaster. But hey, maybe there is no donut shop in Georgia that would be thrilled to have JD Vance inside of their establishment. What a disaster.
We're going to do 2 dozen.
Okay.
Yep. And just a random assortment of stuff here. How long are you working?
I've been here since the beginning of July
Okay.
of this year.
Okay. Good. How about you, sir?
Almost 2 years.
Okay. Good. How long is it?
Everything.
Just everything. Yeah. I mean, a lot of glazed here, some sprinkle stuff, some of these cinnamon rolls, just whatever makes sense.
Some sprinkle stuff, huh? Truly a man of the people. I love how JD Vance cannot have a conversation with these folks. He's so out of touch. He just asks them, "How long you been working here?" When they tell him, he says, "Okay." No follow-up questions about where you're from or what's your family like, what are your interests. I mean, how hard is this stuff? All he can do is stand there awkwardly nodding and with his hands on his hips say, "Okay." And it appears that Donald Trump is getting more and more fed up with JD Vance. After RFK Jr. dropped out of the presidential race and endorsed Donald Trump sent an ominous threat to JD Vance. On Truth Social, Donald Trump shared a post from conservative commentator Benny Johnson, in which a picture of Donald Trump and RFK Jr. are standing on stage, and it says, "The strongest anti-establishment ticket in American history." Now, that's a very curious way to reference RFK Jr.'s support for Donald Trump's campaign. Calling it a ticket implies that Donald Trump would rather have RFK Jr. as his running mate than JD Vance. And can you blame him at this point? JD Vance has proven to be an absolute disaster of a pick for Donald Trump. But he made that back when Joe Biden was still in the race, and he thought he was going to comfortably sail to victory. But now with Kamala Harris at the top of the ticket and her stellar running mate Tim Walz, Donald Trump is left scrambling for a plan B. He is trying to find any way to get some energy into his campaign. And one way he could do that would be to drop JD Vance and take on somebody like RFK Jr. as running mate. Technically, there still is some time, as most states have a filing deadline for candidates to be on the ballot. That's 60 to 75 days from the election. It's cutting it pretty short because that's coming up or has passed for maybe a couple of states, but it is still possible. We've seen some crazy things happen this election cycle, so you never know. So what do you guys think is about to happen? Please let me know in the comments. Is Donald Trump about to drop JD Vance for RFK Jr. as his running mate? That would be quite the turn of events.